Let's go. Hello, YouTube. Doing the YouTube strat right now. Another speed up, another YouTube. At Kazuya vs. Slay. No, I did Brian vs. Slay. Someone redeemed that. Okay. First electric is good though. I actually just started. I just opened up Tekken. Instant speed lab. Okay. About Steve. What's needed to know about this matchup, of course, like 100% you need to know, is how to deal with back 1 and 1-2-1. These two moves. Because Steve players will keep you out with this. Right? Especially back 1. You gotta know how to deal with these. Of course, it's very hard. For us player, it's very hard, but it's also very important for you to be able to punish this, and sometimes even this. In some situations, 1-2-1 you can predict, like you're waving in, you can duck, but you have to wait for all three, and then punish. This is like a Steve unique special thing, because normally you wait for 2 jabs, 1-2, and then punish. But against Steve, it's like a unique option that you have to wait for the 3rd one and then punish it. But it's like a read. You have to be able to duck it. Because sidestepping this is really not reliable. As you can see. Look, the 3rd hit always tracks. And you can't really interrupt because it's kinda fast. So the best way to punish this is to duck it. Unless you make it whiff, of course. But even then it's gonna be hard to punish. Okay, that's 1-2-1. It's like a hard read duck, but you have to wait for the 3rd one. Let's do back 1 though. Now how to deal with back 1. Back 1 is the same kind of thing as 1-2-1. But this, you have a couple of options to deal with. One is a duck on a hard read, of course. You can duck twin piston. It's hard to do. It recovers very quickly. But other than that, you also have a sidestep left option that doesn't always work. You gotta sidewalk it, and it's very timing based. As you see, it tracks me really well in some situations. But then in some situations you can step it like this. See that? But I would not really recommend sidewalk left. So either a duck or make it whiff and whiff punish it. Whiff punish with literally anything. I would suggest the 1-1-2 if you're close enough. Back 1-2 if you're close enough is pretty good. But electric if you're like really good at the electric whiff punishment, that's good. Okay. Event on the channel? No, not right now. I think it's live right now, so if it's done later I might watch it. And right now I'm recording for YouTube as well, doing a speed lab. Okay, now these two moves and how to deal with them. It's very important to deal with these, especially back 1. If you don't punish back 1, Steve player will just, you know, do this. Just spam it. And you won't be able to do anything about it. So yeah, gotta be careful. Also, when Steve players pressure you, like imagine you get punched 1-1-2, do this. You gotta know your options. But most of the time, it's really good to just hold back and see what they are gonna do. Because this will counter hit you if you try anything. Not only try anything, if you try to move, this will hit either direction. And of course, if you press, this will counter hit. So a backdash is one of the best options you can do here. After 1-1-2. Of course, Steve player still has a mix-up here. Dash in like this with blue sparks. This will be guaranteed. But then that's a mix-up. It's a little bit iffy. Down jab? Yeah, down jab is iffy as well. Because the thing is, he also has this. And he also has this. Wait. Not this. He also has that. And he also, you know, can do this into a low parry. So I don't like down jab that much. Although sometimes you can do it. It is an option. 100%. But I don't like it that much. The backdash is like one of the safest things you can do. But you'll still be in the mix-up if they dash forward with blue sparks. But it's still okay. It's not that bad. Mishima boy, hello. That's after a 1-1-2 punish. So after 2-1 punish, for example, most Steve players will go into this stance and you'll be in a mix-up. What they're gonna do is mix you up with this after you get punished. Or maybe do a mid. Like this. Some Steve players might even do this one right here. Now this move right here. Some people may not know, but the second hit here is duckable. You need to be able to react to this and duck it. Duck launch. If you can't, you have to practice it. This is very important duck. Because you can't deal with it otherwise. If you don't duck the second hit here, you can't deal with it. Very, very important. Okay. What else? Also, you need to know your frames when Steve is pressuring you. For example, after this, many Steve players might continue pressing this on block. Because it's only -1. You see this? -1. They keep pressing. Because the thing is, this will trade with 13 framers, right? Like that. Sometimes even beat it. Like, it depends. So you have to know your frames, do a fast move most of the time. 13 frame can work. But yeah, you have to be careful. Magic 4 can work. 1-1 can work. Sometimes down 4-2 can work. But you gotta be really fast whenever you press something. And most of the time you have to press something really fast as well. Down jab is good. Down 4 is good. Just keep him guessing, basically. If you block back 1. Just remember that if you block back 1, it's not your turn. Steve can do a power crush as well. Do this, for example. See that? That will punish it. That will trade. Punish. Magic 4. Back 1. Jab. If you do a jab, which is pretty good check, right? You can also duck the power crush. So jab is a good option. Sometimes magic 4, sometimes down 4, sometimes dick jab. All those are pretty good options. After back 1 on block, of course. But they can also do this. If you like sidestep a bit. And then button, for example. You may get countered launched. So be careful, is what I'm saying. After back 1. Okay. What else? Like, Steve has a lot of mind games like that. It's the same with down forward 1. Steve's down forward 1 pressure has like a 3-way mind game, I think. One is down forward 1 and stop into something else, like down forward 1 stop into low. Or down forward 1 2. That's also a mind game. Or down forward 1 delayed 1. Like 2-1, something like this. This is also a mind game. So basically after down forward 1 you have to guess either Steve's gonna finish it, gotta duck this. Steve is gonna delay it like this. So you have to delay duck it if you want to punish it, of course. You can also step it, but I would recommend ducking most of the time. Like that. Or he'll just do this into nothing. Or do this into this, because you know, you're giving him frames because you're trying to duck. Like that. So it's a 3-way mix-up, more or less. You can do something like a dig jab or down 4, just to check him and just stop him, but he will continue the pressure because the down 4, for example, will not give you enough plus frames to continue, stop him, not continue. Dig jab may be able to stop him, but you have to be careful. Because you're playing Kazuya, you don't have a mid check after a dig jab. If you do dig jab, they may still press. Like, a Steve player can still press. Because dig jab into hell sweep is a common thing Kazuya players do. And if the Steve players knows this, they might like back 1 and counter to you. Same with dig jab to forward 4-3. So you gotta be careful. Like dig jab 1 standing 2, 1+2, dig jab 1 standing 4. Stuff like that can work. Just to keep him in check. What else? Yeah, these are just punishable moves. I won't cover punishable moves that much. Because you can easily just lab it yourself. See the move list, see what's punishable. And you should have frame data installed. If not, you can see frames even online very, very easily. So I'm not gonna cover those. Okay. What else? Yeah, that's punishable as well. This. I'll just mention that this is punishable because most of the time this doesn't look punishable. And the block stun is a bit iffy. But it's -13. Okay. What else? Important thing to know as a Kazuya is launch this, of course. You gotta be able to distinguish this with other lows, like this one, for example, or this one. Because this and this are both minus 12 to minus 11. Look at this, minus 12. Not this. I want another low. Which one did I want? I forgot. Oh, this one. There you go. This is also minus 12. Although this is reactable. This is pretty slow. Same with this one. This is also minus 12 or minus 11. I don't remember which is minus 12 or 11. Because, you know, we all only have a 11 frame punch. And QCF2. Yeah, QCF2 is very important to know as well. But this is minus 18. This is a lot of minus. Although normally I would suggest to TP it. Because the block stun on it is a little bit weird. I don't know how to explain it, but I can't react immediately. But if you guys can, while staying 2, of course, best punish. But Twin Pistons also works. What about flowcharts? Flowcharts are something like this. 2-1 on block. Into these kind of stuff. Wait. Like this. This is a flowchart. This 2-1 on block. Not a lot of people know, but this is plus on block. 2-1. This will trade with a jab. See that? Then they might start mixing you up with like this. Or they might do this. 2-1 is a flowchart starter basically because it's plus on block. You can't really duck it. The second hit is not duckable. This jails. They go into stance. They can do like many stuff basically. And I would normally suggest a dick jab here. Dick jab is a pretty good option. But they can do this. Yeah, exactly, the Shoryu. Which will crush the dick jab. Of course, if you force them to use that, it's good because it's launch punishable. Like that. Minus 15. It's not that easy to punish this guys, I'm gonna be honest. The block stun is a bit iffy. But still, most of the time you should be able to punish it. Minus 15, launch punishable. Gotta electric that. Okay. What else to know? Oh, I forgot this. Another mix-up from down forward 1. Which is if you duck for too long, you're gonna get hit by this. But this is minus 10. Courtesy of like a patch 1 or 2 years ago. And it's the same way for this. This right here. If someone might think you're gonna duck a long time, they might do this. This is also minus 10. And of course there's a high here, but the thing is, you should normally duck this instantly, but very, very good Steve players will do this. This right here. Delay it. So if you fuzzy it, you'll still block it. Fuzzing is the right option, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit iffy. But normally I would almost always fuzzy because not a lot of Steve players do this. Like forward 2, delayed 1. Not a lot of them do this. But they use this to come in, normally. If they use this as like a pressure tool to come in with this and start pressure, you know, something like that. This is also a flowchart. You can interrupt them with jabs, a dick jab. Magic 4 will trade with that, for example. But a dick jab, a jab, or down 4 are like the best options here. Sometimes Magic 4 works as well for like higher reward. What am I gonna learn today? Oh, I'm thinking about learning like Claudia, most likely. Most likely. Yeah, for now, let's do the speed lap. Also, okay, let's see. What else? Some Steve players also like doing this into buttons, for example. Like this. This into back 1. You might expect this as well. Especially against cosplayers. A cosplayer after this might think, okay, I can go for a hell sweep. Like that. Get counter hit, right? So be careful here. Or forward 4-3. Same shit. So sometimes check him while staying 1+2. I wish it had the counter hit. I wish. I don't know why they removed it. It's such a good check for wall standings, right? Wall standing 1+2. It's very good. It's much worse now. Because it doesn't have a counter hit. But it used to be very, very good. But yeah, you can check with this or this. But I would recommend wall standing 1+2. Because it will also catch steppers. It's very safe to throw out. Because it's -9. Okay. What else? DMA, hello. Don't need to anything about that. This punishable, don't need to do anything about this. The Steve players sometimes do this as well, but you can't really do anything about it. This shoulder into mid is safe. What you have to do here is just check him. Either down back 2, down forward 2, or electric. It's just a normal option for minus frames. We're against pretty dead now, yeah. I mean, I still use it as a check, but it's a much worse check now than it used to be. Because it doesn't have a counterative property anymore. This you just break. I don't need to mention anything about that. I already talked about that. This is just a punishable move. Just have to be careful not to mash in between them or get countered. If you get countered, this is guaranteed. Game. What else? Oh, this is very important to know as well. Whoa, not this. This move right here. If you don't know, this is -13. Kazuya actually gets a down forward 4-4 punish at the right range. Like this. But the range has to be close most of the time. And if you're sidestep to the left while this hits, it's almost guaranteed. But sometimes it can become -12. Wait, let me make it -12. It's 13. -13. Fuck. I can't make it -12. Yeah, sometimes it becomes -12, but it's very rare. So down forward 4-4 does punish this. And if you play any other character with a 13 frame punish, you can try it. But you have to like be wary of range. As you see here, if I backdash even a little bit, my down forward 4-4 whips like that. So you gotta be careful. But it is -13. For Kaz, down forward 4 is like the best option you can do. For other characters, if you have a good 13 frame punish, you can try that. Because even if they finish this is not a mix-up. This is always a punish. This, always a punish. It's not a mix-up. If they do this, you can punish them 100% of the time, unless they're too far away for your punish to reach. Jin back to 1. Jin back to 1's a bit too slow. But Jin most likely can down forward 1 that sometimes, or maybe forward 3. Maybe even Magic 4, but I'm not too sure if high will work there. Okay. What else? This. When Steve players do this, and this mix-up, you have to know how to get maximum reward off your read. If you read a mid, the best thing you can do is sidestep. That's the best thing you can do. And of course, if you want an option select, which is hard to do, you can do a sidestep left duck. But it's very hard to do. Like that. You gotta time it. Because sometimes the mid can still catch you. Like that. You see that? But it is possible. But as I said, not reliable. But you have to know your option for maximizing reward. Blocking this is not in your favor. So if you think the mid is coming, sidestep launch it. It's like a read. Whenever you see this, you have to guess mid or high. If you think a mid is coming, just sidestep it. It's not worth to guess and not get any reward because it's -7. So try sidestepping it and punish it. The high will of course catch you, but that's a little bit of a mix-up. It's basically a high reward, but the risk is also high. But of course, this thing will catch you. If they do this, if you just sidewalk, this might catch you, just like that. But sidewalk, not sidewalk, like sidestep block, you'll be able to block. And it's -14. If you are good enough with the electrics, you can launch this, although it's hard. Like that. That's a punish. Since -14, perfect electric or normal electric will launch it, but you just have to time it correctly. It is hard though, of course. I'm not saying it's easy. Okay, what else? The Steve player may be cheeky as well and do something like this. Cancel this into low. But that's like a high level Steve player, if you're dealing with this. That's like an extra mind game to this. Extra mind game. Something like that. Or this into this immediately. Extra mind games. Okay. Now let's talk about the mind game after this right here. This move, after you get hit by this. So after this, you are -2. But Steve is in this stance. He has no choice but to be in this stance. His fastest move here is the 12 framer. This one. 1-2. Fastest move. If you don't count Power Crush. Not Power Crush. Oh, he doesn't have a Power Crush here. For some reason I thought this was a Power Crush. Never mind me. But yeah, after this, one of the best options you can do, one of the best ones to stop pressure is a dick jab. If you dick jab here, the Steve player can do literally no buttons. No buttons will save a Steve player unless they do this. Not this, what the fuck. This, Shoryu. So dick jab is a very good option to stop pressure. You're gonna make them do this, which is of course launch punishable. Just launch it. Yeah, I messed up, but it's launch punishable. But dick jab stops pressure really well. But then if you go up against a very high level Steve player, they might do something like this. This cancel low parry. Like that. See that? That's possible. But this kind of thing a high level Steve player will do. Or someone that knows that people like to dick jab in that situation. That's what they like to do. But of course, if they do like to do that, they leave themselves vulnerable to like a mid check. This will catch them. This will catch them. And not to mention, you can just, you know, stop pressure, go back to neutral. Lookable, hello. I see an also hello. Steve is very strong. Yeah, Steve is very good. I like Steve. He has bad matchups, but in general, he's very good. Okay, that's the mind game after this. You can also jab, magic 4, stuff like that. But dick jab stops almost all pressure. Because if you do a high, this will beat you. Because there's a high crushing, like that. Magic 4, right? And the like 13 frame mid won't work either, because this is +2. This will beat it. This will also beat a jab. Like this. That's what I'm saying to dick jab. The dick jab is a very good option. Very, very good one. Down 4 can also work. Something like that. Oh, and not to mention, this will also beat a jab. It's a punch parry. See that? Not only that, it will beat like a down forward 2, just like that. Beats back 2. 2 jab. Trades with it. It's a countered launcher. It's very good. So, doing like a dick jab or high crush here is very, very good for you. Dick jab, down 4, something like that. Force them to low parry, force them to do this. That's good for you already. It's like a mini mind game again. For this move. Now, after down 2, the situation is a bit different. Not down 2, this down 1. After this move right here, you can freely check Steve most of the time, unless the Steve player does this to a dick jab. A down forward 4 check is very good. If you have a 12 frame mid, I would suggest doing it, but Kazuya doesn't really have anything. But yeah, down forward 4 check is really good, unless they do this option. This is one of the few options that Steve can do that stops a mid check. Of course, Steve player can also sidestep. Something like this. It's only -2. But normally a good mid check is pretty efficient here, like a down forward 4. But you have to be like wary of sidesteps and dick jabs. Of course, you can do some other stuff, because if a Steve player knows it's not his turn, yeah, he has to be careful. You can also do a jab check, for example. Just one jab though. Just be careful of a sidestep. You can do a 1-2 sometimes. Or you can do some other stuff, like dash in. A lot of options here, basically. But just remember it's -2 and it's not really Steve's turn, so he can't do something like this. That's why you check him. Checking is very important. Although highs don't work here. So you gotta be careful. A fast mid is what you want. And if you force him to like do like movement after this, backdash and stuff like that, that means you're not letting him continue pressure basically. And Steve wants pressure. So that's pretty good. Now let's do this right here. This has a couple of mind games. First is this, the most simple mind game. If you press after this, you're gonna get countered. So normally people duck here. But then the Steve player does this. Wait. This into duck 1, for example. That's why you duck and stand up. This is what you do. Normally this is the best thing you can do here. Duck and stand up. But if you have a read, as I said, on that ducking stance, you can also sidestep this. Although it is risky, because if you do step it, you're gonna get hit by this. This right here. Although it's not that risky, because the thing is, you're just gonna get hit by it. It is a knockdown, yeah, it sucks, but at least it's not a countered launcher, right? Of course, they can also do this. Just like that. And it's gonna be like a mini mix-up, basically. But the mind game here is, basically, they want to force a button out of you after this, because they're doing this, right? This kind of thing. And you're like, oh, he's very vulnerable, let me press something. Punish him for doing that. But then, if you like, guess incorrectly, and you press when they're doing this, you're gonna get counter hit. This is the mind game for it. Very, very basic mind game. They either finish this, or go for a duck in stance, and pressure you. But this pressure isn't that strong, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Although sometimes pressing is not that bad of an idea. Like, I wouldn't say to never press. I would not say that. Because if you press, you might force them to finish this. And if you force them to finish it, it's good, because it's launch punishable. You're just gonna duck it to punish it. Okay, what else? Down 4-2 has a very similar mind game as well, actually. Down 4-2 into ducking. Very similar mind game. This into ducking, of course, is safe. You can't punish this. It's -2. Just like that. The mind game here is kind of similar, but the thing is, there's one thing different. The way they're forcing you to press buttons is that you're being forced to press something slow. If you do like very slow mids, as Kazuya for example, down 4-4, back 2, you're gonna lose your turn automatically. And Steve can continue pressuring you. So the mind game here is, after this, Kazuya players might be willing to just wave rule pressure someone. Immediate health sweep. Down back 4. Down back 3. Like, they'll be tempted to do stuff like this. The mind game is them just doing this, basically. If you do a down back 4, you're gonna get hit. Down forward 1 check is still good. But if you do a slow electric, you're gonna get hit. Forward 4-3, get hit. Hell sweep, get hit. So it's basically a mini mind game here as well. So the safest option you can do is a check. You can check him really, really easily. Like a down forward 4. But as I said, you're gonna lose your turn. That's why Kazuya players will be tempted to do something slow. Magic 4. Magic 4 is fine as well. But the thing is, Steve can still duck in here. So nothing is really safe to check. A jab check is good. It's decent. But they might do this for a jab check. So it's a mind game here as well. See that? High crush. Same with the Magic 4. So that's why mid check is the best thing you can do. Down forward 4. Back 2. Or something like this. Down forward check can work as well. But I'm saying mid because it's the safest thing you can do. Down forward works. But the Steve player can just low parry it. Wait, let me try it. Fuck. Something like that. Just like that. On the read, they can low parry it. Do I-15 checks work? Yeah, they do work. They will work. Because a Steve player can't really sidestep after this. And the fastest thing he can do is this, which will come out in 17. This will trade with 17. What do I have? 17? Back 4, I think? Yep, there we go. 17 frames. So until 17, you can check. Down forward 1, you can check. Down forward 2, you can check. But as I said, it's iffy. Can you sidestep? You can. But the thing is, this will catch you. A sidestep is a decent option, because you'll be able to sidestep all other things. But this will catch you, most of the time. Like, sometimes you'll be able to sidewalk it to the right, but it still has good tracking, as you can see. See that? I can't always sidewalk it. If you have a better than average sidestep, maybe you can, but I'm talking about Kazuya. Okay. So that's down forward 2 mind game, basically. What else? Sidestep duck is an option. Sidestep duck is not an option because this bull spark right here. You can react to it, but if you fuck it up, you're gonna get comboed. And if you do a too fast of a sidestep duck, this might catch you. Like that. Like it's either a slow sidestep into a duck, which will you're gonna get caught by the blue spark. If you do a fast one, you're gonna get caught by the non-blue spark. So it's pretty iffy. Because this guaranteed, that's damage, you know? Okay, what else? Like this mind game is pretty strong with Steve. I'm gonna be honest. Down 4-2 mind game is pretty strong. What else? Have I done this with other characters on YouTube? I have, but only one for now. I have to upload one, which I did Brian vs. Lay. And I'm gonna upload this as well. Hopefully I won't forget. Okay. What else? 1-2-1. Yeah, after 1-2-1, I gotta mention this as well. I talked about 1-2-1. But after this, the Steve player is only -3. So a Steve player may do something like this. 1-2-1, sidestep 3, and something like that. And in general, Steve has very good frames. So if you try to retaliate with anything, you're gonna get punished for it. Right? So be very wary of Steve. Basically, if you block something, you have to do something fast or don't do anything at all. That's like a general rule. Very, very general rule. But it's a good rule to follow. Sidestep left duck instant twin piston if you try to catch your sidestep. I mean, if you do that, this will counter hit you. Like that. And that's a counter hit launcher. Okay. Now consider also the extended dock options. You mean after down 4-2, right? I did consider it. The extended dock options, as I said, if you do like a slow sidestep into duck will catch you. The extended dock options also works when you're what's the word? When you're respecting it too much. If you respect this, they might go for the extended duck option. But extended duck can be reacted into more or less. If you're playing a good connection, you're very aware, you can react to this. With like maybe a down 4-2, down 4-4, but you have to be really careful. I would normally suggest reacting to this with like a down 4, down back 3, but mostly like a down 4 would be a good option here. Yeah, Kazuya doesn't have matchup. Yeah, because Kazuya's mid checks just give Steve free pressure. That's why it's not that good of a matchup. Like if you do back 2 to check him, you're -8, Steve can pressure you, and you don't want Steve to pressure you. It's the same with down 4-4. -9, Steve will pressure you. And the other mids, you don't really have any other mids. Down 4-1 is the same, it's -7, and it's way too slow to even use. Down 4-3 is way too slow. It's still -7, but it's way too slow. Slow, and minus. So, punishable. So you can't really do anything to check him. That, you know, goes back to neutral. A generic down 4-1 that's like -1 or -2 will go back to neutral or have a mind game to it. And that's why Steve can, but Kazuya doesn't have that. So Steve can always continue pressure, almost always, if you mid check him. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. This mind game I talked about, this mind game I talked about, this one. Like they have kind of similar mind games. Like after this, they might do this as well. Not this, wait. This. Just like if the down 4-2 to catch like highs. If you do a magic 4 here, do a jab here. Just a 1 jab. This will catch you. 1-2 won't catch that because you'll hit the 2, but it's a bit iffy. Okay, what else? What do I feel about the Long Kazuya or the Maven? Long Kazuya matchup isn't that bad, although I would say Law has a bit of an advantage because how much pressure Law can, you know, exude. I guess that's the right word. And it's the same with Raven. Raven is just very tricky to deal with. Okay, what else? And yeah, if you respect it too much, they might do extended ducks. I talked about this with down 4-2, it's the same thing. If you sidestep block, for example, they might do that. What else? This you just gotta break. There's no trick to it, you gotta practice this. It's fucked up because 1-1-2 is kinda guaranteed. What else? I think that's it. Oh yeah, which way to sidestep with Steve? I almost forgot that. So normally, Steve is very hard to sidestep, as you can see. Look at this, down forward 1. This is one of the reasons Steve is still very, very good. The down forward 1 is very, very good because it tracks both sides more or less. You can sometimes step it, well not step it, sidewalk it. You can't never step it. The step will never work like that. You can sometimes sidewalk it, but that's only sometimes. And that's to the right, but I would normally not even suggest stepping Steve to the right because of a down forward 1, because down forward 1 is really not reliable to step. Most of the time what I would suggest is a mini sidestep lefts, because maybe you'll get lucky. Sometimes steps back 1 because it's steppable, right? But maybe you'll get lucky. That's the only reason I can say maybe step to the left. And it's the same with down forward 2. Down forward 2 is step both directions, but I like the left a bit better than right, but it's both directions. Because down forward 2 isn't tracking anymore. Now something like down 1 as well. You gotta step to the left and track to the right. This is the main reason I want to go to the left instead of right. Down 1. And I think it's the same with down 2. Down 2. Never mind, down 2 is the opposite. Actually no, it has good tracking both sides. Yeah, more or less. But yeah, normally I would still suggest sidestep left. Skella, thank you for the follow. Like down 2 more or less tracks both sides. I would not suggest going to the right for a down 2. It still tracks more or less. Not to mention the mid. See that? The mid will always track you. Yeah, most of the time I would suggest left. Most of the time. Especially, like if you get blocked back 1, you can even step these. This is also possible. If you're really fast, you can react to the 2 and punish it with a jab. But it's very hard because they come out very fast. Now it's possible to step it. It's not a bad option. You just gotta be really careful when doing it. And the same with this. They might try this as well. So if you step it like that. Actually don't step it, walk it. I always get them mixed up. Whenever I say step, sometimes I mean a walk. But you have to be careful. It has better tracking than you can think of. But it's possible. But Kazuya's sidestep is a bit iffy. Rust, hello. It's a little bit more reliable to sidestep to the right, but this will always catch sidestep right. That's why I don't say to sidestep to the right. And that's like the most common option Steve players go for. This. See that? The second hit always catches you, if not the first hit. So it's a bit iffy. But I would not suggest sidestepping that much. I already discussed this, right? But after this, it's only -1, so you have to do something very fast most of the time to take back your turn. A dick jab is a decent option. Down forward, decent option. Jab, decent option. You can do like a down forward forecheck or a magic forecheck. All those are decent options. But you gotta be careful. Okay, what else? Same with 1-2-1. I talked about this mind game as well, but I didn't talk about the transition. It has exactly the same mind game as back 1. 1-2-1 flicker transition is -1. Or -1 for Steve, +1 for you. Exactly the same as back 1 flicker transition, which is also -1. Exactly the same mind game. Do something fast after those. But the thing is, then Steve player might mix you up and finish this, for example. 1-2-1-2, right? Might do this. 1-2-1 peekaboo. Yeah, 1-2-1 peekaboo. Also gotta mention this, 100%. Although I don't see a lot of Steve players do this. They most of the time they go for flicker stance. So the same thing. Do something fast. Mid check like a down forward 4. Back 2 can work sometimes. Down 4 can work sometimes. Dick jab can work here as well. But of course all of those things can be beaten unless it's like a 13 frame mid. Something like that can't be beaten. Like if you check him, 1-2-1, do this, you can't beat it. 13 frame mid is one of the best options. The same thing for here, right? 13 frame mid. Even though it does trade, it's still a decent option. But as I said, dick jab, down 4, magic 4, these things can still work. Your boy, hello. And dig jab can be annoying, yes. Dig jab is very annoying for Steve players, gotta be honest. Very, very annoying, because it forces them to low parry it. And yeah, everything Steve does is basically at least -3. Like, that's minimum. It's either -3 or better. -3, -2, -1. That's Steve's frames, basically. So never do something slow unless you have the read on him. If you read that he's gonna be very defensive, for example, he does something like this and starts backdashing immediately and doesn't pressure you. That's a read. If you have the read, you can like go in for a hell sweep, for example. But of course you have to be careful of a back one. A Steve player might do this, backdash, back one. Right? If you're too slow, you're gonna get back one. Gotta be careful. Okay. Yeah, this is also a pressure starter, by the way. This into 1-2-1. 1-2-1. It's still pretty common. Like, this is the same situation as like back one or 2-1 or stuff like that. Most of the time, he's very, very little minus, and he can mash. So expect mashers. He can mash very, very easily. Same with this. If you don't duck it. Even though it's -6, -6 means you can sidestep. It's still kind of a mind game. Not a button-based mind game, maybe. But it's still kind of a mind game, so you have to be really careful. So most of the time, I'll just literally treat every one of his moves at least like -1, -2, or -3. Most of the time, that string gets ducked. You would be surprised. If you spam this, if they start ducking this, then do this, you might get a counter hit. Because most people... Yeah, this thing, that's a good thing you reminded me, Lookable. Most people do duck instant punish. Right? Something like this. Instant punish. They don't even look at what they ducked. So if the Steve player does this, and they like flowchart duck instant punish, that's a counter hit. Because most people duck instant buttons. They don't see what they duck, they just immediately assume they ducked something and press something. You do this, you're gonna get counter hit. So that's, I would not suggest that. Do not autopilot duck this. So actually mini duck and punish like this. This is what I would suggest to do. The meaniest of ducks. Or you can stay ducking a little bit, actually confirm you ducked something, and then punish it. But mini duck is the best thing you can do, like a very good option select. Auto thrust, I still don't have that command, man. I forget every time. Okay. Let's see. I covered 1-2-1, both transitions. I covered 2-1. 2-1 has the same kind of mind game as literally everything. What else? What else? Have to be really on point on this matchup? Yes, you do. Because you don't have a panic option. For example, sometimes a hop kick may save you. Sometimes. Or a high crush move. It may save you. Except after a while staying 1-2 on hit. Oh, nice. That's a good one. Very, very good one. So this on hit. This on hit is only +3. And Steve players really like doing down 4-2. Yeah, used to do, but they still like to do down 4-2. A lot of them do down 4-2 there. But now, if they do see you like mashing there, they'll most likely do back 1, 1-2-1. And these are the like two options they will most likely do. Either 1-2-1 or back 1. But you may accept the down 4-2 sometimes too. Since Steve players have a habit of down 4-2ing here, sometimes I do a jab check. Not a jab check, while standing 4 check. Like that. I can't jab there, I forgot. I used to do this sometimes. This right here, but it's no longer worth it. So just while standing 4. Just to make them annoyed. And then, if I make them annoyed enough, or maybe down 4. Down 4 is a pretty good option. Dig jab is a very good option as well. Because they like to do this and this, as I said. And these are highs. Down 4, dig jab, pretty good option. Because this will also beat this. But then they will start doing down forward ones. So that's basically the mind game. They will either do down forward 1 to check you, like dig jab down forward, I'll check everything like that. They might do back 1 to check your while standing 4. I'll be careful with the while standing 4 there. Or they might do a down forward too to like check something slow. So I would not suggest doing anything slow there most of the time. So yeah, that's most likely it. I don't think there's any other mind game there. Of course, the Steve player can just do nothing, but that's a mind game for literally everything anyone can do. Like the Steve player can just sidestep, for example. Dig jab, sidestep, punish you. Down 4 will still hit them, for example, on hit, like that. It'll still hit. That's pretty good tracking, but dig jab will whiff. Mustang 4 will whiff. Mustang 1+2 won't whiff, which is why I like doing that sometimes. But yeah, that's most likely the mind game. And also, if they respect it, like if you respect this too much, they might start doing like, I don't know, ducking mix-ups, or just doing a low poke immediately. That can happen as well. QCF1 flicker, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes they will do this. As a check, of course. But the thing is, if you get hit by this, most of the time sidestepping is not a good option. Unless you have a read like this, QCF1, which is steppable, most of the time it's not a good option. Or like down 4-2, which is also steppable. But let me check, just in case. I don't remember if it's steppable in that situation. Yep, it is. But yeah, it's like a hard read. Normally I would not suggest stepping at all. But yeah, down forward 1 in that situation also can be stepped. But as I said, it's iffy. Down forward 1s are very iffy because they might do this, you won't be able to step this, or do this, you most likely get counter hit. Or it might even do this, wait, this. So it's very iffy to just step it down forward 1 and punish it. Very hard, gonna be honest. Yeah, that's why I don't suggest stepping in general. And backdash will work. But then they might do something like this. Dash in your face. If you respect it too much, they dash in your face and you're gonna get mixed. Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot that. This mix-up right here. Almost forgot. So after a wall combo and at the wall, most of the time, Steve has a true mix-up. This is a true mix-up. You can't fuzzy duck it or do anything about it. Of course, you can keep him out with electrics or jabs, because it's not a high crushing mix-up. But it's a true mix-up because this is 16 and this is also 16. The truest of mix-ups, same frame mix-up. So at the wall, you gotta guess between this or this. Sometimes. Especially after a wall combo. Like imagine this, and the Steve player is dashing towards you. This is a mix-up. He's gonna mix you up. Either a wall splat or a hell sweep. Which deals like decent enough damage, right? That's like 40 damage. So you have to be careful, you have to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it, means you're not gonna start guessing at all. So yeah, you gotta be careful. So as you just duck or just guess. Sometimes you can sidestep, but depending on the situation, you may not be able to. For example, if Steve players does this, sidesteps with you immediately this, you won't be able to sidestep that. But if he delays it a little bit, you might be able to sidestep it. Like this move is steppable to the left. Like that. That's why normally I like stepping Steve to the left. Oh, and there one more thing I almost forgot as well. Damn. This is a long ass shit. Steve has a lot of moves, man. A lot of moves. When is the move not a true mix-up on 20 frames? No, it's not a true mix-up when it's like, when you mix up down 4 with forward 4, for example. This is not a true mix-up, right? Because the frames are too far apart. This is what I mean by a true mix-up. When the frames are close enough. If the frames are close enough, they're a mix-up. Unless they're like, I don't know, 23 frames or 24 frames. Even 23 sometimes works, but if they're too slow, like, I don't know, you mix this up with this, it won't work. Even though they're the same frames, like 25, 25, they're the same frames, but they're slow enough for you to react to them. So it's not really a true mix-up. So those are the two exceptions, or two definitions that I use for it anyway. I don't know if they're correct, but that's the ones I use. Okay. And now I want to say about this stance right here, Pap stance. After he goes in Pap stance, of course I told you, in these kind of situations, checking him was really good. Like down forward 4 check is the best thing you can do. Because Steve does have a punch parry here, but down forward 4 is a kick. So this will check everything. Like that. Only thing you'll lose to is these. Right? If you do a mid check. But then you can transition to high checks. Something like Magic 4 can work really well, which will trade, you'll still get a combo. Just like that. Still get a combo. Or a jab check. But jab check, as I said, Steve has a punch parry, so it's a little bit iffy. If he does this, you're gonna get parried. Like that. Bit iffy. And not to mention he can also high crush with down 2. Not down 2, down 1. Like that. So it's a mind game. I already talked about this. But what I want to talk about is the options you have to like beat this to maximize your reward. Or maybe even this sometimes. So if a Steve player goes into Pap stance, I don't know, manually or not, whatever, after this for example, he might do this, right? And normally you want to sidestep Steve to the left, but this is the one exception. Pap stance. Flicker stance is kind of an exception as well, but it's more exception on the Pap stance. You have to change your sidestep direction when he goes into this stance. And this way you can maximize your reward with something like 1-2. Although you have to be careful. As you saw, I failed punishing it a lot. But Pap stance, most of the time you want to step to the right instead of left. There are some exceptions, like this down forward 1. This will track a little bit better. But something like forward 2 will be step to the right, much easier. Something like down forward 2, step to the right a little bit easier. Like that. And what else? I guess up forward 2, if they do try it. This can be step to the right as well, but I'm pretty sure it can be step to the left. It should be both ways, yeah. But yeah, I normally like sidestep right there. 10 exceptions on the same situation. Dude, it's a mind game, man. That's how it is. There are a lot of exceptions on a lot of stuff. It's about the decision making. Dude, high level Tekken is all about decision making. Okay. What else? Like, there are other mind games as well. These are like pure simple mind games. Some Steve players, if they're crazy enough, they might do like this kind of thing, right? This into step, or this into normal slow poke, or this into hell sweep, or this into finish 2-1-2. Like, this is also a mind game. So it's very complicated. It's not as easy as it seems, you know? It's very, very complicated. Okay, what else? Down forward 1-2. Oh, this. Yeah, this will catch because down forward 1 catches sidestep right. Never has a Steve player done 2-1-2. I've actually seen some Steve players doing 2-1-2. Because they see opponents sidestepping after 2-1, and the 2-1-2 catches them. I've seen Hira do it, for example. Oh yeah, I guess I should show you guys the minus trend on this because I'm pretty sure it's not known. It's only minus 11. Kazuya has a decent punish on, back 1-2. It's minus 11. It's really good. 2-1-2 is actually really, really good. Because 2-1, if you do a mid check, just like I said, 2-1 pab, and you do like a fast mid check, they might finish it. 2-1-2. You're gonna get hit. But at least it doesn't have a counter prompting. It's just a normal hit prompting. But yeah, this is pretty good. It's an extra mind game. They can block in the stance. Yes, they can block in the stance, yes. But that's why I said to do a mid check. Not like a mid launching check, like a hop kick. Why? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, what else? What else? Don't need to do anything about that. Punch parry. Gotta know that. I talked about this. You gotta check him sometimes. But they might like bait stuff out with a sidestep. This is a mind game as well. What else? Like, Steve is like a plethora of mind games because of his frames. That's why if you have good frames, the character is normally considered good. At least A tier, right? Good frames mean you have a lot of space for movement and buttons, which is really important. What else? I think that's it. That's it. I might have forgotten something, of course. There's a lot of shit, but for now that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching, guys.